Whether you sending them 304s to the Blade, the casino, or you got them on the internet doing in calls or out calls, a pimp's worst fear is something bad happening to them 304s. Getting hurt, getting riznaped, or even unalived, man. That's one thing that the pimp always is in fear of. And, we're going to talk about a story of mine when a 304 of mine went missing in Pomona, California. But first, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go.
But you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored.
Okay.
I'm so sick of these.
So I can't remember the exact year this story took place, but I know that it was at least 10 years ago, if not longer, right? But I do want to say it was probably over 10 years ago. Yeah, as a matter of fact, my memory is coming back to me, right? So this had to be about 2014. Because at the time I was on parole and I had an ankle monitor on and I had a 1 a.m. curfew. I had to be in the house between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. every night, or every morning rather, right? So, at the time, man, I'm playing at Pomona, California, and Pomona is doing me real cool at the time. Pomona was a little different back then than it is now. Nowadays, you see young ladies down and around in the middle of the night, late night. But back then, Pomona was, historically a daytime track, or, at the latest, late evening. Early evening, right? So, I had my peoples down over there on this particular night. I want to say it was like a Friday night or something like that. But, they had got down over there probably about 6 o'clock in the evening, right? And, everything going cool. Now, my one peoples, she is a young lady who's half white, half Mexican, right? So she down over there doing her thing and, checking in with me as usual. But then she tells me around 8 o'clock that evening that, she got to play. So, okay, cool. So, I, let time go and expect things to go as they do. And no, as a matter of fact, I'm remembering now. My side note, my curfew was from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. They ended up changing it later on, but at this particular time, my curfew, I had to be in the house at 10 p.m. every night, and I had to stay in the house till 6 a.m., right, with the ankle monitor on. So at this time, yeah, because I remember, last I heard from her was like 8 o'clock. So, like an hour or so go by, I shoot her a text, don't get no response. You dig? So, okay, no big deal. She probably busy again because she was one of them type of young ladies that was doing the Houdini, not the Houdini, but the Houdini, disappearing and reappearing with a bundle of money on a regular basis. You dig? She doing the Houdini quite often. So when I don't hear from her, she don't respond to my text, I'm thinking, she just real busy. So 9 o'clock rolls around and I got to start heading to the crib. Now, at the time, I was staying in Lancaster, which is about an hour away from Pomona, driving, right? So I got to, hit the road and get over that way. But, my peoples, they know how to move around on their own, do their thing. They don't need me to be there, right? So by the time I get to the crib, I hit her with a text again. Still no response, right? So now I'm calling her, no response. She ain't responding to my text. She ain't responding to my calls. Then her phone go to voicemail, right? So, pimp been through this a million times where, when a chick's phone go to voicemail it's one of two things. Either somebody that knocked you off for the Britnall, another pimp got her, she done went and chose up with somebody, or the police done knocked her off and she's in jail, right? So normally when a chick go to jail, you gotta wait a few hours before her name pop up in the system. It ain't like an immediate thing, right? But usually after about 4 or 5 hours, especially LA County, after about 4 or 5 hours, you know, her name will pop up in the system when you look, right? So, you know, and then didn't nobody call me to serve me for the broad, so I'm figuring she didn't go choose with no pimping. And then, you know, I let time pass. I check her name on the website to see if she's in jail, you know, and it's looking like she ain't in jail, right? So, you know, time progresses into the top of the morning. You know, pimp ain't even sleeping now. You dig? Phone still going to voicemail. She's still not showing up in the jail system. So, you know, after 6 o'clock passed, you know, I hit the highway and shoot back down to the Pomona area. You know what I mean? I'm riding the track, seeing if I could see her, because sometimes things like that happen too. You know, for one reason or another, a 304 might lose her phone, or her phone might get broken, or, you know, she might leave her phone in the trick's car. You know, 304s be forgetful sometimes. She might have left it on a table at a restaurant, or, you know, inside a store or something like that. You know, but for one reason or another, she might not have her phone. So, you know, it's good for a pimp to ride that track and see if he see her down, right? So I go back over there, top of the morning, riding up and down the razor, and I don't see her, right? So, you know, this chick is completely MIA at this time, right? You know, talk to the wifeys, they ain't heard from her. You know, ain't nobody heard from her, ain't nobody seen her. So I'm like, man, this is crazy. You dig? Now this is when the pimp start getting a little bit worried, because she ain't in jail, pimping ain't knocked her off, and, you know, her phone is going to voicemail. So these is the times when a pimp kind of get a little bit worried, you dig? So I'm like, man, what is going on? So I even checked with a few hospitals in the area to see if, you know, she was in the hospital or something. Still, you know, she's still MIA, still missing, right? So, man, I'm like, you know, screw it. You know, if I hear from her today, you know, I hear from her. If not, then, you know, we're going to have to still, you know, try to figure something out. So I go on about my day, man, you know, pimping as usual. And the afternoon passes. We get into the evening time. And around 8 o'clock that night, almost exactly 24 hours later, I get a phone call from the chick, right? So now, you know, pimping like, this chick must have been up to no good or something, man. Got a pimp over here worried and all these type of things, right? Because, you know, 304s do stuff like that now too, man. You know, a chick will turn her phone off and disappear to go get freaky with a square boyfriend that she got on the side, or to go, you know, do some go on a punkscapade with her little buddies. You know what I mean? They go do some punk shit together, you know. But it ended up not being none of that. I get a phone call 8 o'clock that evening, which is 24 hours from the time she went missing. I answer the phone, it's her. I'm like, damn, bitch, where you been? She like, shit, somebody kidnapped me and they just let me go. I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So I hurry up, rush over there, get to her. You know what I mean? Make sure she okay. Fortunately, she was okay. The kidnappers didn't hurt her or nothing like that. So I'm like, damn, what happened? Why the hell somebody kidnapped you? She was like, you know, it was two essays, two Mexican dudes with bald heads, and they had a girl with them. And she was like, they just ran up on me and snatched me and threw me in the car. And she said they blindfolded me. And you know, they was waiting to hear back from somebody. And she's like, but the whole time they was nice, you know, they wasn't aggressive. They didn't hurt me. They didn't even talk bad to me. They was real polite with me. They fed me. They gave me something to drink when I was thirsty. You know, they took good care of me, but the whole time they had me blindfolded. And she was like, come to find out, they thought that I was somebody else. And they was waiting to hear the confirmation that I was who they was looking for. And then they was gonna get me up out of here. I'm like, oh, wait. But when they talked to whoever they needed to talk to for the confirmation, those people confirmed that she wasn't who they was looking for. And once they confirmed that she wasn't who they was looking for, you know, they ended up letting her go. But they held on to her for about 24 hours, man. And it was a scary situation, you dig? And yeah, man. Fortunately, God was on her side, on our side. And, you know, I know people hear these kind of stories about the game, right? And, you know, they just think the game is one big horror story, like nothing but bad stuff happens to people in the game all the time. But, you know, this is just life, man. You know, square people who ain't even in the streets and ain't never did no crime and never did anything wrong to nobody get kidnapped and snatched up. You dig? So it's not something that you could really blame on the game, man. But things like this just happen, unfortunately, in life. You have sick individuals out there. You have crazy individuals out there, and they don't have partiality to people in the game or out the game, you dig? But the bottom line is, you know, you just got to be careful and you got to stay prayed up, man. But she came back in one piece. She came back with not a scratch on her, and everything was cool. It was a scary situation, but she made it out okay, you dig? But let that marinate on your mind one time, freezes it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this. I've been stroking relentless, took it waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, I wait.